Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. Aaron?
That's me.
That's you.
Daniel.
We got footage now, so now people can put names to faces.
Yes.
The D to the Daniel, and the A to Aaron. It all works out perfect. Okay, today is a great episode. It is an episode that I have actually wanted to talk about for a long time. Mm-hmm. We had it up on our board, ready to go. We just never did anything with it.
Yeah.
So we're finally jumping in. And I want to talk about the new age sales. I don't know about you. I get sales calls all the time. All the time. I'm dealing with sales calls when it comes to getting a website created. I'm dealing with sales calls for cameras in our vehicles. I'm getting sales calls for everything, to put music on our phones when you call the business. Ridiculous, right? I mean, there's so much today. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that pisses me off more than the old school tactics when it comes to sales. It irritates me to no end.
Same.
Absolutely to no end.
Yeah.
And there's such a massive difference from what sales used to be.
Sure.
And what it is today.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. I was in it. You were in it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We were going through, hey, what does sales look like and how is it changing and getting to where it is today? And the ones that stayed on the past never really saw much success. The ones that ended up changing, we saw so much growth and we saw so many more sales and more valuable sales. And that's exactly what I want to talk about. And what we want to dive into is, what is that past versus present? Mm-hmm. What was some of those past sales, I guess, tactics you had?
Oh, I mean, I didn't start off knocking doors for pest control. I started off knocking doors for a vacuum company. So,
which one?
Kirby Vacuum.
There we go.
There you go, guys. There you go.
They got their shout out.
I got my keychain for selling 3 in my first week. I still got it. Don't worry.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
They gave out keychains, huh?
What it is, Kirby Vacuums, I think the starting price back then was about $2,800. So knocking on a front door and selling a vacuum did take a lot of tactics. When I jumped in was maybe 10 years ago when I was doing it, creating the fear, creating the need, which, kind of go back to the present later, but like it was all fear-based. It was all give you the best deal. It was swindling. It was, I don't know. I didn't really like it. I mean, I did good at it, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't agree with you more. That's exactly what it was for me. I did security sales. The company that I worked for is no longer around. And so their name was Pinnacle.
Okay.
And they ended up selling off to a bigger company and everything. We did security sales, but it was the exact same thing, right? Mm-hmm. What fear can I put into you today that would make you buy today?
Right now.
Yep. And that was the beginning tactics. That's really what they taught you.
Yeah.
Right. So get them. Hey, there was a break-in down over at Susan's house. They just freaking ransacked the house, raped the kids. Like, it was a mess. Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do. And everyone's like, oh no, I need to get this now. And it's like, how much fear can you put into them to get inside, to sit down, actually sitting down with them and pushing them through. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel good about it either.
Yeah.
Fast forward to year 2 doing it, and I learned a little bit more. And so instead of being an absolute scumbag and lying to everybody, which I was doing, which, hey, spoiler alert, technicians, you guys, you're doing it too. Okay. When you go up into attics and there's nothing up there and you're poking holes with your flashlight, you're doing stupid stuff. You're showing them past pictures because you want to get a sell. Hey, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Be legit about it. Be truthful. You may win today. You're going to lose tomorrow. Yeah. Always happens.
You're going to lose the war.
Yes, you are. But I did it a little bit better second year, right? It was covering up logos. I was sitting here saying, oh yes, I had my clipboard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Yeah. Oh yeah. We work with PG&E and Honeywell. See, it's on my sleeve here. Mm-hmm. We do the work for them. You have a Honeywell, like little keyboard, whatever,
Sure.
or whatever it's called, inside it looks like one of these, right? And they're looking at them and they're like, yeah, I think that one perfect. Let me go look at it real quick. Mm-hmm. And then I'm walking inside and they think I'm with their current company, which I'm not.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting down and then I'm like, oh, by the way, you're going to be paying Pinnacle now. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, cool stuff. You're no longer with ADT. Yeah. Good job. Mm-hmm. So it was really that type of stuff, right? You're going in, you're scamming people to get the sale. You're scamming people. You're lying to people. Some other traits that I threw out, for the episode was loud, obnoxious, center of attention, pushy, aggressive.
Yeah. Buy or die.
There's one word that sums up, or two words, I guess, that sums it up is car salesman.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
That's exactly what it was.
Am I missing anything for past salespeople? What they looked like, what we looked like?
I think,
and I will say we.
Yeah, I'm part of that too.
Yeah.
I think we gave people a pretty good understanding, and I would assume that everybody also gets a million phone calls, a million people trying to walk up and, solicit or whatever's going on. And, if you are in the sales world, it's kind of cool because you can see like, oh, this guy sucks, or he's actually doing his thing. But for the past stuff, no, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll throw out a few examples of what that looked like.
Okay.
Or what that looks like, in the real world right now of what a past salesman, right?
Sure.
I'll go on car salesman because everyone can relate. So I was getting a vehicle years ago, and the car salesman, this is the pushy side of them, right? Is, they're like, hey, it's only X amount of dollars. Why wouldn't you do it? And I said, hey, look, my price is this. This is what it is. It was $50 less that I wanted to pay on a monthly basis for the lease. Mm-hmm. And, he's like, so you're just going to walk away from this for $50? And I said, I'm like, I can say the same thing back to you, right?
Or are you?
Yeah. And I did. I literally said that. I wasn't holding back. I was a salesman. I've already done sales for years prior. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, I can say the same thing back to you, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to let me walk out of here for $50? Mm-hmm. I said, if you're not going to do it, I'm leaving. So I don't care what you do, but you're going to let me do that? Oh, hold on. Let me go talk to my manager. Let me go do it, right? That's that aggressive pushiness, okay? Pest control looks a little bit different because we go in and we say, you're going to get shut down by the health inspector because you won't pay for a $60 service, a $50 service, an $80 service. Mm-hmm. Really? Like you're going to do that? You're going to allow that to happen? Or you're going to, someone could call, the health inspector and let them know that you don't have a pest control company.
Yeah.
That's the pushy, aggressive shouldn't do. Right. One on the door, pest control specific that I would do, I guess I shouldn't say I would do. Pest control is really easy, but, what people would do is they would put the fear of a spider in you, right? The fear of an ant, a fear of whatever. And, you really push them into and creating that fear of that pest so that they have to get it.
Yeah.
And they feel that they can't do it without you, or there's, the bugs are going to just absolutely swarm them. We created that fear inside of them to get more sales because we would play on that fear card.
Yeah.
We knew you were scared. Because of that fear, we did it, right? And they teach you that in the sales world. You create the urgency. You create that fear. If I leave and I don't spray your house, you may die. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's black widows everywhere. I don't know. You could die.
I can't see the future. Yeah.
But that's the fear that you're putting in people.
Yeah.
Right. And that is really the big thing that we have to look at, and we don't even have to do today. Mm-hmm. Because the cool thing is it's facts.
Yes.
It's teaching. It's just letting them know, hey, today is different than what it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. I don't have to lie to you anymore.
Agreed.
People see past that too. That's what so many people are blind to, is they don't understand, I know you're selling me something.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
It's not a secret. Uh-huh. I know you want to sell me something. I wouldn't have called you here, Aaron, if I didn't want your service, or I didn't want you to explain my service. I know. Mm-hmm. Just like when you're going into a fast food restaurant to order food, you're going to buy food.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Right? It's not like it's, oh, what? They're selling me a hamburger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, duh.
Of course.
You're in there ready to eat. Like,
Yeah.
of course they're going to sell you a hamburger, you know? But that's what that difference is, right? We'll get into what the present looks like, but the past is that pushy, negative,
right,
down your throat, fear driven. That's what's going to get it, right? Yeah. And we don't have to do that anymore. And we actually shouldn't if we want to succeed. Mm-hmm. What is the new? What's the new?
The new is great. The new fits my personality a lot better.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I mean, I'm more just laid back in general when it comes to conversation. And it's exactly like you said for the new, it's facts.
Yeah.
I mean, something I really have worked on is the communication side of it. Mm-hmm. Like actively listening, understanding what the customer needs, and being truthful and genuine, whether or not it's a good fit or not.
And you know what? That's exactly what it is, you know? And I've done this so many times, and this is where, you know, some of the old school sales guys are just cringing when I say it, but I've been in a person's house talking about cockroach treatments, and they're like, but this person's cheaper. And I say, hey, look, I'm not here to convince you to go with me. That's not why I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm here to tell you this is the process. And if they don't do this process, they're not going to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you that because I've done it. You want to go with them? Please. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. I'm only here to get rid of your issue and help you.
Yeah.
You decide. Uh-huh. You want to keep going with them? Awesome. Make sure they do these things though. Mm-hmm. And then choose them. If they can do it cheaper, choose them. 100%. I'm not against that at all. Mm-hmm. But if they're not going to do those things, call us up.
Yeah.
Like, we will take care of it for you. We will handle it. Mm-hmm. And I would say 9 out of 10 times, they don't even say, they say, okay, let's just go forward with you.
Yes, they do.
Yep. As crazy as that is, I even told them, don't use us. Go somewhere else. And they still say, I want to use you guys. Mm-hmm. So being truthful, being honest, being upfront. I'm not here pushing you. I don't need to push you. Mm-hmm. I don't need to put the fear in you.
Yeah.
I just need to educate you. This is what we do, and this is why we do it. This is what they do, and this is why they do it. And this is why it's probably cheaper than our service, or even more expensive than our service. They're doing it this certain way, which doesn't make any sense, and we don't do it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're bad for doing it. We just don't, because the results aren't there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why. And I'm telling you why. I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. Most people, you know, they go into that revert and they go back, and it's like, well, it's because they suck and they can't do this and they don't do that and they want to do something. And then they just start talking bad on the company, which doesn't make you look better.
Makes you look worse. Makes you look a lot worse.
Yeah. But those are one of my experiences of bringing it to essentially, look, this is what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
And I win.
Yeah.
You know, what was one, I know you kind of talked a little bit about it. Do you have a specific example of what you've done to win?
Yeah. Very similar to the example you gave me. The Japanese, like, we have a tea and like coffee shop that we do in the downtown area out here.
Yeah.
And we got a call for a cockroach estimate to go out there and inspect. Did everything. I broke down with the owner how much all the treatments would be, what would be included, what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And immediately she was transparent and said, hey, I just got a bid for another company to come in and do this cockroach treatment. Mind you, it's a commercial kitchen, storefront and everything. Not a huge place, but it's still a kitchen, right? To do a cockroach treatment for $120, and they would guarantee it, and it wouldn't be that much all year. Why is yours X amount, right? And it was a lot more than that, obviously, per treatment, doing multiple treatments.
Yeah.
Just like you said, I mean, I went into her, and instead of really diving into what the other company's doing, I'm like, it's just how you explain it. I'm like, look, I'm looking at it from a pest perspective. You know, you have German cockroaches infesting your storage room. They're getting all the way out into the lobby area where they're getting up to like almost the front door. We're going to have to do this. It's going to take this many visits. The reason why it costs this much is because we do guarantee it with the proper prep. And, you know, we're going to help you do that prep work, laid everything out for her. I think it was about 4 or 5 interactions of, I'm really thinking about it. You guys are really expensive, but I don't know. Even when she agreed and was doing the treatments, she was still having a hard time stomaching it.
Yeah.
Like when I'd call and say, hey, just checking in. We'll be here next Friday. Just wanted to know how's everything going. She's like, the treatment's really expensive, but they're working. So things are good, and I'm like, well,
good.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And I think the point of that was just how I approached the situation, because she actually asked me, she was like, can you connect with the other company to see like why your guys' prices are so different? And I just told her, I'm like, that's not really going to do anything because it's not going to change how I price this out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's no point to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of more of the shift. And then instead of pleasing and saying, oh yeah, just give me their contact info. And in the back of my head, I'm saying, I'm not doing that shit. But instead of like in the moment saying, hey, there's really no point to do that. And here's why. Like, I understand your concerns. I understand why you feel that way, but here's why we do what we do.
Yes.
And that's it.
And it goes back to one of our past episodes just recently that we did, and you have to be the professional.
Yeah.
Right? Doctors, lawyers, they don't care about your feelings. They don't care.
Cut my leg open. Cut it open.
Yeah, right? Like, it's just like, they don't care. They're telling you from a professional, at least they should. Most of them should. The good ones do.
Yeah.
The good ones say, no, this is why I don't want to do that, because this, and this.
Yeah.
We need to do this first, and then we'll try something else, but we'll see it little by little, and then what that difference will be, right? That's what we have to do, and we're so scared as technicians, because technicians aren't salesmen.
Yeah.
That's another big issue we run into in this industry is you grab a technician and say, okay, you're doing sales now. Well, they go straight to the old school stuff because that's everywhere, and they learn it. And then they become super pushy, and they're not good. They just suck. They just create the fear, and they know how to.
Yeah.
Because a doctor can do it. You walk into a doctor's office and he's like, oh no. You're going to be like,
yeah.
What? What do you mean? Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I saw how you walked in, and you're going to be like, well, what do you mean? How did I walk in?
Yeah.
Well, you were kind of a little like that, I don't know. We're going to need to do some scans.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, well, I mean, I only came in because my finger hurt, but now that you mention it, I think my knee does too.
Yeah.
And you're like, yep, exactly. Yep. We're going to have to do everything. Blood tests. We're going through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just what we've done as pest control techs. You show them that tactic, and then we come in and we're like, oh my gosh. And they're like, what? They're like, that's a dropping over there. And it could just be from like a burnt pizza crust. And you're like, yep, you got rodents. They're everywhere. There's like 50, I think.
At least.
At least from the size of that dropping, there's got to be 100, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to like everything. It's bad. But that's what it comes to. Yeah. You go into rodent situations. I mean, I've gone in and laughed. And I'm laughing in front of the customer because they're telling me the last guy came in and said that there's 26 rodents up there and possibly 5 babies. And I'm like, how do they know? And they're like, oh, I don't know.
Well, usually it starts with this. Usually they're like, hold on, before we start or before we give us the price, how many rodents do you think are up there? And my answer to that's always like 2, 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I can see that there's droppings. I can see the entry points. And then, like you said, they go into, well, I got 3 other opinions, and they said it'd be this much or this much. I don't know why you don't know. And it's like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, like, oh, the fresh droppings up there. My HVAC guy said there's fresh droppings.
They're only a week old.
Yeah, they're only a week old. Or another tech goes up there and they're like, oh, yeah, these are pretty fresh. And it's like, I don't know when it took a shit.
Yeah.
When was the last time I went to the bathroom up there? I don't know. How would I know that? You even have the Rodent Academy. They're like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if we took it under a microscope, we can see moisture, stuff like that. Like, we could probably guess.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Probably guess were the 2 key words.
Yeah. Like, we don't know. We don't know when they were, So, but that's where you get those sales tactic, and it can go so wrong so fast. Great. When all you have to do as a new age salesman, we have the ammo. That's the craziest thing. We know it all. Like, we know so much that they don't. Prime example, I had a lady, she called, freaked out about cockroaches. As she started to explain them, I'm like, oh, okay. You have the outdoor roaches, or the bigger roach. Okay, they're not infesting your kitchen. She's like, well, I went online and I looked this up and it said that they could do this and all the diseases and all. And I'm like, hey, calm down, calm down.
Yeah.
Like somebody from who, old school sales would be like, cha-ching, like,
jackpot.
we got to do full on cockroach treatment. It's going to be 6 services, $1,000 a service. We got to go full board. It's got to be 24 hours apart. I'm getting commission. I'm getting fat commission, right? Customer doesn't know.
Of course they don't.
They wouldn't know. And I came in and I was like, oh, hold on. You're good. These are easy to take care of. This is what it is. We're going to take care of it. And I gave her what she needed. And exactly, she wasn't even paying for it. It was the owner that was paying for it.
Yeah.
But she was happy with what we were doing. And the owner was thrilled about what we were doing. Right.
Of course.
So being that honest and just slowing people down. Hey, calm down. I know what you think a rodent can do and what it does, and it's going to bite your feet while you sleep. Like, calm down. Mm-hmm. Like, we're good. Mm-hmm. Take a breather.
Yeah.
But the education side of it is so amazing. Now, you still have to keep some of the sales stuff in. Okay.
Sure. Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is it's not, you don't go old school, pushy, aggressive, but you also need to structure how you're saying it and when you're saying certain things to build the value.
Right.
Okay. Bed bug treatments. Let's just throw out a $3,000 bed bug treatment on a 4-bed, 2-bath house. Okay. How I would structure that and not be aggressive or pushy, right? I find bed bugs. I sit back down with them and I would explain, look, you have bed bugs in your house. Okay. They're in these rooms on these beds. We need to do a full treatment in the entire house. Okay. We're going to do 3 treatments. Okay. So 3 treatments, $1,000 a pop. Okay. That's the example. I would say, look, this is what we're doing. We're going to go into each room. We're going to be tearing everything apart. It's going to look like we ransacked your house. Okay. I like to have fun with it. So I'm a little bit lighter. But I get serious, but we need your help. You're going to have to launder everything, do all that, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. These are the treatments. This is all this stuff we're going to do in every single room, every single treatment with all the traps, bed bug monitors, spraying, everything, right? I'm laying everything out. And then at the very end, I say, okay, bed bug treatments are on the expensive side, just so you know. But this is everything we did. Okay, this is everything we're going to do for you. And we're doing it 3 times. Those treatments are $1,000 per treatment, and once again, this is why, and then I'll reiterate, but that's what it is. Yeah. Just so you're getting the sticker shock out of the way. You tell them it's super expensive. They're already thinking 10 grand. Yeah. You jump in and say, hey, it's $1,000 a treatment, but everything we do is this, and we guarantee it. Boom.
Yeah.
So you still have to have those sales tactics involved, but I'm not being aggressive. I'm just explaining this is how we do it and this is why we do this. Yeah. We use this product for this reason and this is what the results should come of it. We do this, we take off the plates, we do that, we dust here. These are the results of that and this is why. And then they start to piece all of those things together as, oh, that's why it costs that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So then they hear that and say, oh, that's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
And I've had that. After thousands of dollars, on a price, and they're like, "Oh, okay. Actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, it makes more sense
because you broke it down for them."
Yes, and that's what you guys have to. You really need to focus on. That is create that. Be the teacher.
Yeah,
educate them. Let them understand why. Mm-hmm. I have a ton of examples, but just be honest with people.
Yeah.
When they want to try to barter or get a price down low, be honest with them. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know how much it costs to come out here and do this?
Yeah.
I've told people that. I've straight up told people that. They're like, well, can you do it cheaper? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I'm spending in chemicals just on each visit? Mm-hmm. It's like $200 to $300 just in chemicals.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean lower it? You know, I can't.
Yeah.
That's not even a count. Yeah. We're not even talking about the gas and the visit and my time to be here today and on the following visits. Mm-hmm. And you want me to just like lower it?
Yeah.
That's not how this is going to work. I literally can't, you know, but it's being honest with them and letting them understand. And then they start to piece those things together and say, oh crap, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, duh, I'm not lying to you.
Sure.
You know, but helping them understand.
Yeah.
But the other difference is that people don't understand and can't see is residential to commercial. You know, what are those differences in your opinion? You know, what are those big differences in residential and commercial sales?
Looking at it from the actual salesperson versus the steps of the sale, it still does follow a lot of the same points that we were talking about. If I'm on the phone with the residential customer who's interested in signing up for service, a very common one I get asked is going to be safe. Is it going to be safe around my dogs? Whether we're doing pest control, rodent control, you know, I have dogs, I have kids, I have this going on. Like, what are you going to be spraying? You know, and I tell them, like, it's a pesticide. We have an eco-friendly option where it's mostly botanical oils, but there is an active ingredients for some pesticides in there. The rodenticides in the bait boxes are rodenticides, which means they're poison for rodents, right? And then, but with that, kind of like you were describing the bed bug treatments, you know, I'll kind of preface it with like, look, we're in California. You know how strict they are on all the regulations and laws. Yeah. So what's great is they actually make us use, and I'll show them, you know, this tamper-proof or this tamper-resistant bait station. I show them the key that has to go in there, and then I'm going through the products themselves, and I'm telling them, you know, when we're spraying the houses, we're not soaking everything from shingles down to the lawn, right? We're spraying against foundations. We're doing this. We're targeting these areas. You know, we're mindful of like dog dishes. If we're spraying it inside, depending on the product, we will ask you to step out, or we'll tell you if you can stay in. Education.
Right? Oh, 100%.
Education.
Yeah.
On the commercial side, it's a little bit more of a transaction. You know, it's a little bit more of a harder close without being abrasive. Yeah. You know, because like you said, I'm walking in with the logo. I'm going in. They see the work truck pull up. I get out. I'm asking, hey, who does you guys' pest control service? I'm obviously looking for a sale. Something you taught me, which I appreciate. What's something that you want your pest control company to be doing that they're currently not doing? Or what do you want done? Or what do you want done for a pest control service? Yeah. Because they'll just give you the cards. I've had people say, oh, yeah, I mean, we've had our guys for years, but they don't de-web or they don't do anything for rodents or that. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's it? No.
That's the secret?
That's it. Yeah. You know? But I think it's, for the lighter commercial stuff, I think getting to that bottom line faster, avoiding the runaround, avoiding the song and dance, obviously be friendly, be cordial, but you go into a light commercial place like a gas station or a small restaurant, taqueria, things like that. You say, hey, where's the manager? Where's the owner? Who makes decisions? You know, I'm Aaron with, you know, this pest control, and, you know, I need to speak to somebody who is in charge, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, honestly, it is that simple. Residential, you're going to be a little bit softer with.
Yes.
It's not going to be as direct to the point. The pricing is going to be a little bit different on how you handle it. But people, you have to change. And if anyone has actually dealt with a fleet salesman at a dealership, very, very different than actual salesman. So a guy who's over fleet, dude, it is no bullshit, straight to the point. We're not messing around. What do you want the vehicle to cost? I'll see if it's even possible. He doesn't need to go run. He's not running to managers. Let me see if we could do that. No, like literally, I sat down with him and he's like, what do you want? What do you need?
It's like, I want to buy a car.
I'm like, I want that Ranger. This is the price that we agreed upon. That's what I want. Yeah. Great. That's what it is. Let me go find out what the interest rate is. You're good for it. If you want to go with the interest, you want paying cash, let me know. Like literally, no, like, dude, I don't care.
Beautiful.
You want it or not. You want the vehicle? I'm putting this vehicle out. We're selling it to you today. What do you need to say yes today? Not, if I get this price down to 29,543, will you say yes?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, none of that. Okay, shake on it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what it is. So you see those differences, okay? That was with a fleet. That's on the commercial side. When it comes to the commercial side, yes, I am very direct because they're very direct.
They're working.
This is their business.
Yeah.
I have to have pest control. I know how much pest control costs because I pay it every month. What are you going to do for me? Are you giving me more services? Or are you doing it for cheaper? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I need to know. How are you going to solve my problem? Okay, I have rats. They're not taking care of it. I'll jump on your service, but what are you going to do for this situation?
Yeah.
Simple as that. How much does it cost? No BS. You don't need to it just kind of depends. And maybe, if you're nice to our guys and give us a soda, we'll drop $5. Like, they don't care.
They don't.
It's not much of negotiation in those situations. It's, dude, just tell me what you are going to do and how much it costs. I go in, I hear a local company that's very expensive. I go off of that. I already know. Who's your current pest control company? Oh, I already know their pricing. We'll beat it. And we'll do the same job. We'll beat it because you're not going to pay for a name. You're not paying for the name that's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Well, what do you do that they don't? There's nothing. There's nothing that they do that I can't do.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. The chemicals they use, I can get the same stuff. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
Just like the gas station down the road can get the same products as you, and they are. So, yeah, there's no difference. It's just, do you want to go to Chevron or Shell? Doesn't really matter.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Little additives in their gas, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. It's whatever's going to make my car go to point A to point B.
Yeah.
But that's what it is when it comes to commercial. You don't need a push. I'm not pushing them. I'm not forcing them. It comes down to the facts, pricing, flat line. This is what it is. What do you need? What do you want? Perfect. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Sign here. Let's move forward. Residential, I am going to be on the softer side, right? I'm coming into their house. I'm looking at the situation. They're freaking out. I'm breaking it down for them, and I'm guiding them on, this is what I think you need, but you could get away with this, or you could probably go with that. But this is what I think.
Yeah.
And it's just going on the softer side of the residential, right?
Sure.
What it is, it's a little bit easier. They got bed bugs, pretty easy. Cockroaches, pretty easy. Your general pests, if they're trying to quote it out between a ton of companies, that's where you're going to have to be. How are you standing out in those situations? And the aggressive, loud, obnoxious person is not going to win that. We're talking about their home. We're talking about their family. The false promises are just going to piss them off in the end and cancel you anyway.
Yeah.
So being upfront and honest is really the new way of sales and how you need to handle those residential. Commercial is going to be very business. Residential is going to be very personable.
Yeah.
And personal, right?
Yeah.
Where pricing may be a bigger factor to them. Sometimes not, because they just want that solution. What's the solution? Can you fix that?
Yeah.
Are you that problem solver at that time? Then they don't care how much it costs. But understanding the differences between the residential and the commercial and really how they intertwine. Anything else that you wanted to hit on those?
No, I like what you said about, when you're actually getting someone signed up on service. And, I know I talked about it in the beginning, but you'd be surprised how many people don't listen and how it shows when you're talking to customers, because customers will tell you, right? If you ask and you actually actively listen to what they're saying, I'm trying to think of an example where sometimes it's as simple as the company can't show up on time, and where the harder close comes in the new age.
Yeah.
So the way I do something like that, it's like, so you're saying is all we have to do to bridge that gap is just make sure we show up on time. I'm like kind of having fun with them. Like, that's it. I'm like, oh, easy,
Yeah, let's go.
Keeping it light. I'm like, yeah, I can do the service right now where it's that time anyways,
Yeah.
But no, I think you hit it well on the differences there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it is. We did have one other thing on there is kind of governments bidding. Did you want to hit a little bit on that?
Maybe just on not the government or state buildings, because we went on the bidding side of it in a couple past episodes, but I'd say a step up from light commercial. I named it heavy commercial, and what I mean by that are apartments, hotels, things that usually have a phone tree to talk to somebody who makes decisions and kind of what that process looks like. And it's even more of a different game than getting into a light commercial and being direct, because you go into a hotel, you talk to the front desk person, you're like, I want to speak to the owner. They're like, I don't even know who that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that takes a little bit more of research, planning. I'll give you some of the stuff that's worked for me, a little bit of premium content for you guys.
There you go.
So if you're doing commercial work for property management companies, big entities, you have to get set up on vendor lists. And what that is these companies have to have a list of approved vendors where they get your tax information, your liability insurance, your everything about your company, so you can be registered that they can pay you bills once you do services.
Yes. And you have to be up to a certain standard.
Correct.
Of insurances, and you have to follow what their guidelines are to be an appropriate vendor on their list. Some people don't care as much. They just want to make sure that you're real. Others are, you need certain insurances now that you're spending, and you're going to be spending way more money on certain types of insurances.
Yeah.
So just a heads up on that. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. And I thought it was shady at first, but it's legit because the wording's correct, and I have good intentions. But what I would do is I would actually reach out to the umbrella company, like the people who are actually buying and making those decisions, like the vendors, right?
Yeah.
And I would reach out to them and I would say, hey, right now I'm in the process of acquiring a few properties that, require us to be vendors. So can you please send us the packet so we can fill it out, or send you our information to be on your vendor list for these properties?
Yeah.
And on their end, they're like, we want to make sure bills get paid so we don't go to collection. So they're going to send us that information.
Right. Yes.
So now when I go to those apartment complexes, I'm like, hey, Daniel, I'm like, hey, my name's Aaron with, so-and-so Pest Control. We're actually set up as vendors through, and you say that company name, that umbrella name, we're set up as vendors through DNA, right?
Yeah.
We're set up as vendors through DNA. We have a lot of properties in the area we're going after. We want to talk about services and see if we can earn your business.
Yeah.
Because that is like miles ahead of somebody walking in cold without anything, like
not on a vendor list.
Is the manager here? My name's this. I don't know if we're on the vendor list. It's like, no, this is the vendor list and we're on it.
Yes.
For you guys. We're already set up.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to bridge that gap?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the less thinking and work that you make, the people who make decisions do, make it easy for them, especially in those higher sensitivity places.
Yeah. Yeah. And one other tip I'd like to add on getting on a vendor list for all the guys out there: do not get on a vendor list if you are not prepared to do the work. Okay. Seriously. I'm not doing that saying don't get on it. We gave you how to do it. So we're giving you the secret to do it. Okay. Don't do it if you're not prepared. Because what's going to happen is they say, Aaron, I need you to come out today. And Aaron says, I can't. I'm only a one-man show. Good to know. You are now at the very bottom of the list, or possibly off.
X'd.
And they'll never use you again, or they're going to use you as a last resort, or in a decade from now, because a new person came in and took over that position and they don't know that you suck. And it's not that you suck, it's just you're not prepared to take on additional work.
That's what it is, yeah.
So when you're running a one-man show and you start getting on these vendor lists and you start going after all these properties, understand how much work may get involved. And can you handle that work by yourself? Or do you need somebody else? Yeah. Because they're not going to wait around until you figure it out.
Yeah.
They have problems that they need solved today and right now. See, that's where the false promises of a past salesman get affected to what it is today. So you're going in and you're lying to them saying, hey, oh yeah, I can take it all, but you can't, you know, and that's a big issue too. So be prepared for that, because if they start calling you and you start turning down work or you're not very responsive, they stop calling you.
Yeah. They're going to notice that quickly.
And if it's a very big property management company or whatever it is, they're going to start saying, hey, red flag, do not use them.
Yeah.
We have it with a company that we're dealing with right now.
Yes, we do.
The regional manager used us to take care of bed bugs. She has now, the company that is doing their regular service on a monthly basis is not allowed to do any specialty pests. Mm-hmm. They call us. They say, call them. She even tells her managers, you have a problem? Don't use the company that we're using right now. Do not use them. Use this company. They're going to handle the situation perfectly. Mm-hmm. Use them. Company now, they only do monthly services.
Yeah.
Outside of that, throw them away. When a person moves out of that unit, who do they call to inspect?
Ghostbusters.
Us.
That's us.
It's us. So that's what I mean is, if you're not prepared, don't do it.
Good advice.
Yeah. Well, it's just, there's some stuff that we're not stepping into and we're not necessarily prepared to step into.
Yeah.
Once we kind of dip our feet in that water, it's game on. But we don't jump in. We get ourselves into sticky situations that we have to learn, and we have to learn quick. We don't go on to a massive government job or a private entity job that we're literally not even qualified to do. And we did it one time, and we got pulled in, and Aaron got pretty embarrassed about it. He was pretty pissed off.
Hey, we all learn.
But it was a good learning experience of, don't do that if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
And we did it with our confidence up here. And then it was like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's rethink this. Yeah. And then let's go and attack it until we figure it out. Let's, and it's fine. We don't have to. It was a whole new thing.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter if we did it or not. But that's what it comes down to.
That's such a good point too, because I understand the ambition. I understand where people are coming from. But imagine, let's just pick something random like Taco Bell, right? And let's say you get all the way up to the regional person. You finally get the decision maker, and they like you, you like them, and you've convinced them of everything. And they're like, okay, you're doing all 80 of our Northern California locations. We need you to start next month, right? And you're like, oh shit, I can't, But like you said, after you go back on that, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Anything that you may have gotten to that point in the future, like, 5-10 years from now, you may have been able to take that on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I like your point on that too.
Oh, well, because you ruin it. You ruin it with the person who made the decision. You ruin it for everybody who wasted their time rooting for you to get to that.
Yeah.
And just to fall short.
Yeah.
No. It's just, you will never have that opportunity again.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Unless you're willing to throw in everything, start working 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it.
Yeah.
And there's so many, I have a brother, he details vehicles. He had massive companies, rental car companies that he was cleaning their cars. He couldn't handle the work. Guess how many car companies he does now?
I was going to say one.
No, none. He doesn't do any of them because he lost it all.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't handle the workload behind it. And he was I have customers I got to go take care of. I started my pest control company. I have family and friends. If I don't show up, they're going to get mad.
Yeah.
So I got to put these people who I don't know on the back burner. Even though I'm going to make thousands, I got to put this person first.
Yeah.
Because it's just me. Well, you start losing those relationships, and then you start destroying yourself. So you have to be smart. I know we went off, curved a little bit, but for a very good reason. When it comes to the sales side, you can get in.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. You can start getting your hands out there. That's easy. You can get the name out there. That's easy. It's taking on the workload that's hard. It's now, hey, you have to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 technicians. Do you have $100,000 to buy trucks and equip them with everything? You don't? Well, then you don't do it.
Yeah.
Be smart. Make sure you're ready for it before you get into that. But I am glad you hit that. Is the heavy commercials, as you start to get bigger, you start to create a bigger name for yourself and it spreads throughout. But if you can't handle it, they start to kill your name and pretty much throw it in the trash. And then you're burnt. You're done.
Yeah.
We have a company, we're taking over all of his accounts. He's pretty much burnt and done.
Yeah. It's not from scratch, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Because all he was doing were apartments and stuff. So
yeah. And he's suffering now because of what he's done and because somebody better than him has come in and taken him out. Right.
Yeah.
But our sales tactic wasn't tearing him down, which he actually did to me at one point at one of my complexes that I had in the very beginning.
Oh, nice.
You know, he lied, he cheated, he placed bait where it wasn't even really there. We never even did bait stations. And us coming into his, he took one. We took dozens, right? So he's now sitting, or a dozen or whatever it's now sitting at, is he lied on that one to get it. And now he's lost so many.
Wasn't worth it, was it?
Just remember, the new age and the old is very different. And it's going to stay very different. And we're going to start seeing the gaps starting to widen more and more and more and more. And we're going to see it in car salesmen as well. You're going to start to see, I don't receive commission. I'm really just an information guide. What vehicle do you want? What do you want to sit in? What do you want to test drive? I'm just here to guide you to that point. And that's what it's going to eventually turn to.
Yeah.
You know, is you're going to step away from that pushy, aggressive, obnoxious person to, hey, I'm just a focal point for information.
Yeah.
Just come to me. I'll tell you everything you know about this vehicle. We're good. Come to me. I'll tell you everything you know about pest control, our different services. There is no wiggle room on price. This is what it is. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You want it or not, you don't, cool, go find someone else who's going to, you know, barter with you. I don't really care. But at least I'm going to be honest and I'm going to feel good about it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? So what else do you have to add?
On the heavy commercial or just in general on the episode itself?
I mean, I think on general, I mean, is there anything that we're missing out of the new age, you know, of sales compared to the old that we may have missed or that they need to know?
No, I think just reiterating at least what's worked for me and what's worked for a lot of the recent success in sales is actively listening, being transparent, being genuine, being thorough.
Yeah.
Don't make promises you can't deliver on.
Yep.
For yourself too.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I think that's 100%. A big one too, is I had this problem of, you know, I was trying to be Superman, do a million things, and I didn't understand my limitations. And, you know, as being a prideful young man that wants to conquer the world, you know, there's times where like I have to check myself because I understand that me running myself ragged is doing everybody else a disservice. You know, when I'm saying to that person, it's like, oh no, I could be there at 5 a.m. when I was at someplace else, like at midnight last night. And, oh, I forgot I have to go to the office and do this before I even go there. It's like,
yeah,
just be reasonable with yourself, be transparent with the customer, be transparent with your office team, your sales team, because the culture will trickle down from the top. So, I mean, if you're listening to this as a technician who is starting to sell, I think just getting your foot out there, if sales is a route you want to take, see if there's a need for that in your company. And if you enjoy doing it, start practicing, kind of having those conversations with people, trying to get those upsells, prove to the managers that you're able to take that on. If you are a sales manager or in a management position overseeing a sales team, again, it trickles down. You know, how transparent are you being with the guys? What methods are you teaching? Are you self-evaluating what's working, what's not working? And just go from there and be ready for change, because things do change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this has been the first of a couple episodes. We are doing the video stream. You know, we really do appreciate the support and all the listens, downloads, reviews, all that stuff goes such a long way. I mean, we don't charge to put any of this content out here. We do it because we enjoy doing it. We're here on a Saturday on our quote unquote day off, but we really enjoy connecting with you guys. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and now YouTube. We have posts that come out Mondays and Thursdays for podcasts, and then we have posts that come out on Instagram. Our website has links to have a direct link or a direct questionnaire to the Q&A and to be a guest. So thank you again for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.